Grooving.
Stupid Duper Dave's always in our chat telling us how we rule. True, he's on to
Good
something.
morning, Danzy.
Yeah. Welcome back to Wook Plus. I'm Weekend Wook, joined by Kev. I think we're going to be joined by Ashley a little bit later, but we just wanted to get things kicked off. What's up, Sean? Everybody. So what a fun weekend. Well, shit, 2 different nights. I don't even remember what nights they were, but both Kevin and I got to see some Karina Reichman this weekend, which was freaking a lot of fun, man. What'd you think of her show?
Really liked it. I was Thursday, you were Friday, so I was DC,
Right.
Philly. She went up the coast. I guess New York was last night, and then Boston maybe is the night. So if you're in Boston, check her out. The opening band, let me jump into them a little. Coyote Island, they're out of Maine. Really cool. It was like a mashup between surf rock and dub reggae.
Yeah.
And had a little bit of like the Sublime. It leaned a little towards that, but they were fantastic. But Karina rocks it. From us talking beforehand, we're thinking that the sets are probably going to be similar each night, but that's the best way to mine it. There were some nice
that's how
jams.
every band starts off, right? They don't have the depth of their catalog. They get to workshop it. I mean, doing 75, 80% of the same set night after night on these little tours is how you get them locked in and shit, right?
You got to play the hits.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was surprised, and maybe I shouldn't have been, and maybe it's not even a good observation, but in the moment, I felt so many Les Claypool influences, and I think part of it's just the voicing of have the bass lead the arrangements, but the intricacies and how she was like hammering down on the bass, it definitely had some less feel, like primacy feels. But then she also has like that real, like light, angelic, like female voice that kind of like with like the harder, like she's rocking out and like the bass feels heavy, right? But then like her voice kind of floats over. So it creates this really interesting dichotomy that is, pretty. And I love trios, man. I play in a trio. I think it's some of the most fun jamming because every instrument has and every person has a nice like carved out chunk of the sound, and everyone's so critical, and the interplay you can have with a trio is remarkable.
Right. It seems to me with trios, though, that you're going to have your bass and drums, right? They're holding it down, and a lot more will fall on either the organ or the keyboard or whoever the third element is out
Or
of
the
it.
guitar.
Yeah.
No, it depends though. Like that's why you need a really good a bass player, right? Like to rock that, because the bass and the guitar player, right? Because like a standard bass player will just lock in the rhythm section, but when you have the interplay between the lead and the bass, you can be super melodic with the bass. And that's how Karina plays. I thought there were several songs, rightfully so, and obviously that she really took the lead in the instrument and the singing. So, but yeah, no, it was a great show. There was one moment in the show, and we'll talk about that a little bit with Ashley, where I saw some shit that was a little uncomfortable, and like that's kind of the reason I wanted to have Ashley on here too, is just because like that shit you still like once you are like keen on it and can see it, you see it way too often, and that sucked. But other than that, man, Karina fucking rocks, really good.
I've been calling 2023 the year of the trio, because Amanda and I have talked to quite a few of them, and I found an interesting trend where 2 or 3 of them have now added a keyboard player and become a 4-piece.
Yeah.
For me, like when Alan Woody died and Government Mule decided to keep going, they added a bass player and a keyboard player for whatever reason, and I totally lost interest in it because it lost what made it magic was the 3 of them. I mean, keyboard, bass, drums, and guitar are your standard jam band, configuration. Let's try to do something different, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, oh wait, there she is. I was just gonna email Ashley the link, but I got her here, so let's bring her in. I was gonna say though, hey Ashley, how's it going? Do you still want me to
Hi.
email you the link?
Yeah, I'm on my cell phone. I really don't want to hold it, so it'd be really cool if I could get you guys on my
All
laptop.
right. I will put you backstage and we will email you the link.
It's amazing. Thank you.
All right. Shit, now I just got to remember how to get in my email.
Oh boy.
No, so what I was gonna say though, while I do this, let's see if I can double up, is that a lot of times trios are bands that can't find um a fourth, right? Like, but then not every time, obviously, like Cream could, right? But like a lot of like when you see these smaller jam bands and stuff, it's like you have three really talented musicians, you want a keyboardist, you want a fourth, but you can't find somebody that's at the same level because it's hard to find four musicians that are at that same level. And then they get some success, and then all of a sudden, the more successful they get, they attract other talented musicians, and that's why a lot of times you'll see trios turning in
but
it's four
it's like,
pieces.
it seems like when you sign up and you're like, all right, we want to be a jam band, that's one of the boxes you have to check is to have 4 members. I wish more bands didn't. Like Mo, I loved Mo so much because they didn't have a keyboard. Now they've added one, right? Now
That
they've
didn't
added
work
one,
out.
and Nate is, thank you. And Nate is really good with my cats, Francis and Cat.
Not a girl.
But Nate is very tasteful, and Nate respects it. And for a long time, Mo has had Jim with him,
Right.
doing the vibes. So they've been a 5
And the
piece,
way he plays the vibraphone and xylophone,
which is almost keyboardy.
yeah. It's very keyboardy. He plays it very keyboardy. I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place trying to figure out how to fucking send this link.
This is our first time on air today. Anyway, so as for Coyote Island, you should check them out too. They were a good band. They did a Radiohead song, I think, or Karina did. Tim and Kevin will be. Oh right, yes,
That was some wild shit.
that was.
That was some wild
And I
shit.
still had half a beer.
Yeah, we yeah, Sean, we did 5 hours. We probably could have gone a little bit more. Doing it in like the whole idea too, though, is like not telling anybody and just seeing who would hang with us. And I mean,
and
still have 20 people at the end.
Right, while we're talking about it, that was the last live of the year. But this Wednesday we have the Wook Plus office party coming up, and then the week after that is next year. So
yeah. No, I'm looking forward to the office party.
No, I lied. Next week is the Wook Plus office party. The week after that is the pre-MSG show, because we're going to be doing our recaps like we always do, 15 minutes after every Fish MSG. And we're also going to be doing some set break hangs for members. So if you want to be a member, you got to get on your laptop or your PC to get that link through YouTube. But $2 a month, definitely worth it.
Yeah. See, Will, I think we brought that up on the live stream too. I think we should be getting Dover details because
Tuesday.
They said fall, travel packages, Glenn Close, and details coming out later this fall when they did the save the date, and the fall ends on Thursday. So
we ain't got much fall left.
Either they completely misled us or that shit's coming out. Oh, this looks great. Hey, Ashley. Oh, sorry about that. I was trying to vamp with Kev and email you the link at the same time. I should have worked that out beforehand, but
it's okay. I thought I could just click through from the way I would have done it on my phone, forwarded it over, and it wasn't supported in the, I don't know, the link that was coming up was the wrong browser, and then it was just yelling at me, telling me to do other things. So that's my fault for not doing it earlier. But Sunday morning for me these days feels like another dimension. So it's kind of fun to be so off and like just going for it. So
well, this is like a fun time, I think, which you would think is anti-intuitive, but like we started doing these Sunday morning live streams like a month ago or two, and it's just such a different feel for us because like, well, you've been on our show, like on our channel dozens of times, but it's always like late night, either before a Fish show, after a Fish show, or like late at night, we're drinking, hanging out, and then I kind of liked it. Like now everybody's drinking coffee, and waking up, and it was just like a very chill conversation. It's just I really think it worked well for us. But I appreciate you jumping on so last minute.
No, it's good. It's great.
Yeah.
It's
How
just
we
like I
doing?
said, it really feels like a different dimension because though when you guys started doing post shows, I was like, oh no, that's late. And then
Yeah.
it's fun for me because it's a whole new Ashley at Sunday morning. I've been doing working at a venue. So this is like first thing for me this morning. So I'm excited.
So let me ask you off the top. We hung out for a few minutes at Dick's. I came over and talked your ear off. What'd you make of the Sunday show? Because we saw Heaters Friday and Saturday.
You have to remind me, was that the rain delay?
Yeah, that was the rain, the one setter. What'd you make of that?
One set fish is hard for me because it doesn't have that habitual expected break where you don't know, are they going to take this somewhere, are they going to smush in a bunch of shorter songs, where are we, like what day is it, what time is it, you know what I mean? So that can be not to it's kind of, it adds a little anxiety, a little, or like a little nervous tension that is just different because one set fish is so I guess rare, so I think, but for me that day was a lot more stressful in a different perspective, right? Because I was in the venue at 5 o'clock and fans
With
didn't
no
get
one for
in.
hours.
Yeah, so fans didn't get in till 8 or later, and so for 3 hours, we weren't sure if we were gonna have to break down, seek shelter, get canceled, all these things. We weren't in the direct weather. We were under the overhang on the page side, so, but it was like my favorite part of that day before the music was watching the sky change because we had that view from that perspective, and it went from like sunny to black to like rainbows to orange. If I knew any technology right the second, I would show you some of these photos from Ard's perspective. It was absolutely insane. My friend Esther from Waterwheel and Stu Kelly were with us that time. And we were just watching this crazy storm unfold, not knowing what was going to happen. But I remember the music being a little chaotic, just because it's a difficult structure, I think.
I don't think Trey knows how to write a one set show.
Well, I
You
don't know.
nailed it in the beginning.
The year before, though, I thought the one set show was the best night of the run in the previous Dick's run. So I think it's hit or miss. Yeah, maybe he doesn't know and he just got lucky, right? Like maybe that's it, or maybe it has nothing to do with how it is and it's 50 other variables. But I've had some one set experiences that were the best, and I thought this last Dick's it was the worst night of the run. But
I
you get something different.
The set list. I don't remember right off the top of my head. I guess I could. The
what
date?
You don't reject? No, it's okay.
But here, why don't we jump into this? Because we got a good question. Because we probably have some viewers who don't know exactly what you do there.
Yeah, we should talk about GrooveSafe.
Okay. So GrooveSafe nonprofit, we work with fish and other bands. Our mission is to stop unwanted touching and bring attention to harassment and sexual misconduct in live entertainment spaces, mostly focused currently on like music events. So for a long time, I was feeling uncomfortable at shows, not just being fascinated by it, bothered, but also fascinated by the behaviors that I was witnessing and experiencing when it comes to people putting their hands on other people, and not necessarily. I mean, I'm talking specifically like private parts of my body and others, but there's also a personal boundaries, kind of respect for space problem going on as well, whether it's because of intoxication levels or people just assuming that other people are okay with that kind of thing, which and this is my like really raw Sunday morning version of it, but it's basically the idea that it's not okay to put your hands on people, touch people without their permission. Consent is necessary and mandatory when it comes to those types of behaviors. You need permission from someone else to touch their body. And also we talk a lot about verbal harassment and just respect in general when it comes to space. And, you know, everybody deserves respect and everybody deserves to be at the show, including, you know, gender. It's gender neutral and moves across all of genres. And, you know, it's just really important for people to kind of check themselves. So we're building that kind of different culture. We're trying to shift into that awareness, I guess.
Well, it's crazy because if you had asked me, and I hate to even claim the ignorance, but if you had asked me 10 years ago how prevalent it was in a show, I didn't see it a lot because I wasn't looking for it, and I didn't particularly get it happening to me personally a lot. So in my bubble, I was just kind of like, oh, I bliss out at a show. This isn't a problem. But the whole idea of awareness is now, like, through relationships, through your work, through, you know, things that have unfortunately happened to, you know, people that are close to me. Now, every time I'm at a live music event, I mean, I feel like some times it's been better than others. Some have been really bad, but like you could see it and it's not even hidden a lot of times, right? It's like kind of super blatant. And so I think it's like really critical to keep pushing that narrative out there and to get the awareness, because I think the more people that are there, I feel like it's not like everybody sees it and just condones it. I feel like there might be some blindness to it, but once you open your eyes, you could see it. And I think that goes a long way in helping it,
Yeah.
you know?
It's one of the things, excuse me, that's most important to me is I've said it for years, but it's the awareness is the beginning, because like you mentioned, if you're not looking for it, you don't necessarily see it, or you don't know what to look for, or you don't know what role you can play in helping. A lot of people just assume it's not their problem, or they think that like, oh, they'll handle it, or that doesn't look too bad, or, you know, they're not, you know, cornered with a knife held to their throat. Like it's a lot more of this smaller behaviors that you can look for. And I guess that we were saying, how do you know, what do we do? So at a show, we talk to people a lot about there's the victims, there's the venues, there's the perpetrators, but then there's also just the bystanders, and that's just all of us, and we all fit in as a bystander at all times, really. And it's to learn on how you can help when you're not in the problem directly, and that's how we build that awareness around us. Like Timmy, you're saying, like it. Once you know what to look for, it's kind of up to everybody to sort of keep your eye out once in a while. And it's up to me to share with people how to know what to look for. Because we've said it on the show before, but the bystander apathy effect is the idea where the more people in a space that see a problem, the less likely someone is going to step in because they assume someone else is already doing something, and then no one does anything. And like
Right.
you know, and so we teach the small skills that aren't, they're a little awkward at times, but it's more the de-escalation, non-evasive, not adding more trauma to the victim, like just punching the guy in the face. Like there's more things that you can do that are small. And I mean, easy once you know them, you know, asking someone the name of the song or where the bathroom is to just kind of divert their attention. It's kind of an easy thing to do that ends up helping someone more than you might even know what you're kind of, I want to call it butterfly effect, but it's like, what's happening next? You don't know. And then, so it's
Right.
up to all of us
De-escalate
to
it.
say like, we
So,
can,
which person do you engage with, the perpetrator or the victim, in order to try to diffuse the situation?
it's definitely situation based. It's wherever the bystander feels safest or the most easy to apply in that moment. So for me, you know, 5'6", smaller white female, I prefer in most moments to interrupt and go to the victim or the person in
Right.
trouble, because then they can disengage, you know, kind of pretend they're my friend or just be like, ah, whatever, and like then fully engage with me. The mirror on this camera is backwards. I'm confusing me. But then therefore to diffuse, that person will like, hopefully the idea is the perpetrator will become uninterested or like, oh shoot, someone else is here, then they'll go away. But there is a confront skill, which is where you can go to the person causing the problem, depending on your size, confidence, personality, structure, whatever, and be like, hey, what's going on here? Do you know
Yeah.
her? Is he bothering you? Well, he's bothering you can go wrong. So try not to do that one. But you know, anything that comes out of your mouth that's non-confrontational, you're not throwing a punch, be like, yo, man, come on, move along. Or like, do you guys know each other? What's going on here? I'm not as comfortable because if he's, say it's a male, I started to gender, but if a male is bothering a female, he could bother me just as quickly. So I'm more likely to
Right.
talk to the person if it's a woman or a man or whatever, but like pull the person out of the situation. And like I said, so the long story short, it's very situational because there's also times you can't get involved, but you can bring someone with you to, like to delegate, get help. You can also check in with the person in distress, victim, later, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at set break, and be like, hey, I saw that interaction. Like, are you cool? My friends are over here. You're welcome to dance with us. Something, something, something that sort of validates their experience and realizes that they're not alone then in that moment or for the rest of the show, or like they don't have to leave and they don't have to feel, unseen. And then we also have the table in those scenarios too at some shows where we're at. Like you can come hang with me if you had an issue or something's bothering you. Like we're not a counseling center, but I always have an extra chair. I'm always boogieing. Like if I'm in the concourse or in the venue or like direct view of the show, like GrooveSafe always welcomes people to just like come chill because we don't want to hide, but we do kind of have a moment of reset there too.
Now,
Yeah.
where can someone go if they want to find out more information or if they want to try to help you out in some way or learn more?
Yeah, we have a website, groovesafe.org. I'm usually pretty active on all social media. It just at GrooveSafe. Instagram has an underscore at the end, but it's pretty easy to find. And usually pretty active in ways. But there's like a take action page too. So if you're a band, you're a venue, you're a fan, you want to do a training, we have a bystander training on the website. So there's lots of ways. We need a lot of volunteers. We need back end work. Like so we're just keep trying to engage with fans and bands and venues.
I'll share the just so people see what it looks like. It helps, I think, with familiarity, what it
helps
looks
people
like.
who are visual learners.
Right, visual
Like
learners.
you.
But you have this take
There's my
action.
beautiful website.
It is really nice. I love the color scheme that you
Yeah, the
guys
green
have.
is great.
Yeah, it
Green
really
really.
stands out. And the badges, I have actually, I think I need to get a new one from you next time I'm at a show. But I have one that I always wear at all the shows just as like
Thank
support.
you. Yeah, we have buttons. They're usually
Badge button.
around.
That's
I'm trying to see. I always have a million, but those there you can see it on there. Those stickers. But we encourage people to grab a button. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got that James Casey sticker for me. Nice. We encourage people to grab a button either through the starter pack on the website or at the table, and then wear it on your backpack, on your shirt, on your hat, whatever. And therefore, it means if you have a button, most likely it means you've had a conversation with someone from GrooveSafe or an ally to understand what we do and why we do it. And if you're in a crowd and you see a button, it's like there's sort of an unsaid, underlying support there. Like if you have a button on, you don't need to be a hero and like solve every situation. You can do whatever you want to do, but it's just kind of this comfort that like more people than you might realize are aware of this issue and the behavior problems that are existing. And you might find a way to, meet a friend or have a support if you're either alone or just need somebody.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big picture of what's going on. I know we have a lot of other things going on. And I mean, I know Tim, you had said that maybe you had you had a situation that you might want to chat about, but like we got a lot coming up too.
Well, we could talk about. Do you want to talk about what you have coming up, or I didn't want to dwell on the situation, but it wasn't like a massive like thing. It was, I guess, minor, but I felt really helpless and I didn't know what to do. So like I feel like it could be like a real life example of if there was bystander in what involvement or injection that I could have done that I didn't, because I'm almost ashamed to admit, like I thought about it, I couldn't decide what to do, and then by the time it kind of passed, and then I felt like shitty about it. And actually, just like full transparency, actually was gracious enough to join us kind of last minute because we didn't have this planned out for weeks. I was at Karina Reichman on Friday. And so basically what it was it's a narrow venue, right? And like, there's not a lot of room going back.
Where was it?
I was at the Milk. Oh, no, it's okay. It was at the Milk Boy in Philly. So if you've ever been there, it's like maybe 10, 15 feet wide, but very, very long. And the bathroom
8 by 10? Is it kind of like that? Like really skinny? Like
yeah,
exactly.
Even skinnier though, like one townhouse instead of two.
Right, it's like one
2
townhouse.
townhouses.
And the bar and the bathrooms are in the back, and the stage is in the front. And there was a guy.
Sorry, that's like there's one in Albany that's like that's like really long and skinny. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Nice, but I'm picturing it. I got it. Got it in my mind.
And so I'm on the side, right in the middle, and there's a guy that's like 5-10 feet, front right of me. And every time a dude walked by, he made a nice clear path, right? And then every time a girl walked by, he like opened up to it and like almost like opened his hands out, and like it wasn't like grabbing them, but like it was obviously like a conscious thing. Like, and in my mind, like if he was just like loose and kind of fucked up and was like bumping into everybody, I'd be like, oh, he's probably had too much, and that's another problem. But it wasn't like a conscious thing. But like the fact that you could see the observation, the decision, and then the different choices just made me feel really like disgusting. And I wanted to be like tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey, make some room. But like, I don't know. I hesitated. I waited, and then I lost him. And, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't like grabbing private areas and like making advances, but it was definitely very uncomfortable. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, do you think, Ashley, if someone's comfortable doing that, they're probably comfortable taking it further, is what I would think.
Yeah. So first of all, I cannot assume I understand the behavior and the way it looked. I can never say, well, that means that they're going to go, corner someone or, drug someone or as more they drink or something, that they're going to start actually physically touching people. Like we can't say that for sure, but we also know that if you're not aware of respect and personal boundaries from the beginning, you might not be aware of how far and hurtful those sorts of things can become or whatever. So I guess, but not really. I can't really assume that. Also, the other thing is that these behaviors and reactions to them exist on a spectrum, right? So to you that day, that didn't seem so bad. It felt off, but it wasn't right. But someone that experienced that person not moving out of their way intentionally, like that could send someone into
and having the hand too. It's not just like, oh, I can't get through. It's like would like leave their hand out. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, but I guess
really
what I'm
gross.
saying, a couple of things is like what might not seem so bad to you could be bad to others. And so that's why, there's no specific, like this is worse than that. So that is clearly an action or like a behavior, even something that you witness that's like very obvious, sort of odd, right? And then the other thing is really important for GrooveSafe to tell anyone listening into you now in this moment is you can't fix everything all the time. So don't beat yourself up about not stepping in that moment, because it wasn't what you're doing now is it bothered you enough to call me and be like, let's chat on Sunday. Like, so to me, that's an action too, right? So that's almost like the delay bystander feature being like, I want to talk about this. I want other people to hear about this scenario. And now we're opening it up for people to hear that those small kind of awkward, whatever that person was doing with like clearly choosing being a door for a gender, like men can go through it, women have to like kind of squiggle a little more, like that is still a behavior worth chatting about. So in that moment, you didn't really talk to the guy, but right now you're talking to me and anyone listening about this thing. So to me, I want to make sure that you know that that is also a bystander intervention tactic, is by keeping a conversation going. This is actually the delay method, honestly. So we're still doing it here.
It's weird the amount of, I didn't even realize like the amount of like guilt. It's weird. I don't want to overstate it or like be whatever, but like,
okay, but that's what we should do, right? I mean, it's okay.
Right. Because as you're saying that, I almost like, I'm like starting to be like, oh God, there's like emotion there.
It's hard, right? But other people can know that like if we're talking about say we're among friends, pretend I wasn't the expert or whatever.
Right.
Part of this teaching,
you're my friend first. I would consider you my friend first, but also an expert.
Right. But so what I'm saying is like, even on the info card, it says continue this conversation to be a part of the solution. And so us talking about it now, whether I'm part of the GrooveSafe team or not, is we're talking about it like socially or among peers or whatever. And therefore the next time we talk about it, it'll be easier and easier to talk about it, less stigmatized and less, I think I probably already said the word awkward, but instead of avoiding it, we're chatting about it. And like, even though it sounds like I'm like, being like forgiving you for not doing it in the moment, it's not really like that, because we are still talking about it. And that is one of the one of the goals of the mission is getting people to be a little more comfortable, either bringing it up pre-show, post-show, being comfortable being like, hey, Johnny, you're kind of wasted last night. You're kind of handsy. Like, it'd be cool if you just like were able
Cut
to
that shit out.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
well, in the moment, later, before, like all of that is making this easier to approach, I think. In a
Right.
way. So
Communication.
anyways, those are my thoughts. But obviously, if you were to be in that moment and not be able to get to them, that's why there is that one skill that's delay. And delay can be then that night, later, or with me here on a live show. It's like,
Right. No, that makes sense. And I'm glad that we're doing this. And I think getting your message out is the best, it's something I can do. But
Hmm.
do you
More
guys want to
more information in the show notes later.
yeah.
So do you want to plug or talk about anything else you have coming up? Because I also want to just talk some fishing and some
Yeah.
rumors and some light stuff too. But
Absolutely. We have
New Year's?
what?
New Year's?
Well,
You gonna
yes.
be in New Year's?
Well, yeah, I'll be at New Year's. I'll be in I am going as a fan, I think on the 29th, and then 30 and 31 we'll have a table in the concourse at Madison Square Garden. So you guys can catch us there. Something really exciting that we're doing right now that this is the first official drop, I guess, is you guys getting it now, is we're putting out a fan survey. It's going to be really, really important for everybody that can. It's a 5-minute survey. What it's going to do is give us some numbers and some metrics so that when we approach either skeptics or people that need to realize how big this issue is, we'll have numbers to back it up. So it's for everybody, any fan, any person that's ever been to a show ever. Like, basically, it's just a few questions about your experience on this topic. So that's going to be huge. So hopefully people can look for that survey in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll run it for maybe a month or two, and then we'll hopefully have some numbers by summer tour. It's going to be official research study, which is going to be really exciting.
And it'll be
done online.
It will be done online. Yeah, it's encrypted because it went through a review, a ethics review board. It's an official study, so it's going to have a link, and it's private. And the data, the group data, is going to be something that we're going to try to discuss and put out to help with the mission. But the individual responses are not; they're anonymous, which is going to help people that either need to tell their story or also just are kind of either a little embarrassed to sort of click like, yeah, I've been touched to show, and then we'll get the numbers. So I encourage people to do that. We'll have a lot more information. It's going to drop on everywhere pretty soon. And then we're on Stub Me Down tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
So that is going to be cool.
Yeah.
We talked for like 2 hours. So anyone has a chance to do that. I don't know what the editing is, but it was a really good, really honest, vulnerable, open conversation. And yeah, I mean, that's like what we got coming up. So if you want to talk fish, I can hang. We can talk about that. And
what do you make of the sphere? What do you make of the sphere?
Oh, okay. Let's see. What do I make of the sphere? I think it's exciting. I think it is a little odd just because of the stories about no dancing in the higher levels. Like, they really apparently enforce it, and I don't know how you're going to keep wooks from dancing. I want to keep people safe, but like, even I had a concussion. Well, I did a full tour 2016. I had a really bad concussion in May at summer camp. It was my 5th concussion. Another story for another time. Okay. And so all of summer tour 2016, I did a lot of fish sitting down. I had to, like, physically needed to, neurologically. So I learned how to do a lot of noodle dancing with my hands, but the urge to get up is incredible. So I am interested to see how that plays out, and safety and rules and all that. And people are, I don't know, but I think it's exciting to see. The other thing I was wondering is how the lighting would work, and how, if Chris is he scrambling like CK5 right now, scrambling to get this really cool stuff going on in a whole different LD platform. It's I think that's pretty cool.
I've heard that there was a team they brought in, right, Tim? That they were working with someone else.
Well, the Sphere has a special production team that works with the artists and venues. I also think, and this isn't something I've heard, it's just speculation, but because of CK5's relationship with MSG Entertainment and MSG, because he does, the Rangers, and he does so I think he probably had early access or earlier access than another band's production would have had.
Like, he's been working on this thing. So that's exciting because Fish is known, well, in our world, we feel like they're known for like the light show, right? Like, it's a big part of it. So I imagine that it wasn't a couple of months scrambling. You're right. Like, he's probably like, and they knew about it for a while. Like, they really were trying to get those dates. So, and I guess I didn't do the on sale. Like, I stayed offline yesterday. I was afraid of that. That stress bothers me.
It was so bad. We recorded it. Like, Kev, he and I tried to get tickets, and we recorded us getting tickets. And it's so comical because we were so hopeful the whole time, and then all of a sudden it sold out, and we're like, fuck.
And you guys, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of glad in hindsight that we didn't get him because I really can't afford it. But like, I had the FOMO, and I was doing I want to say like what do you call it, like impulse thing, but it was like, how long did that take, Kev? Like a half hour. So by the time you actually get there, it's not really impulse.
No, I tell you where the impulse comes in once you get through and all they offer you is charity, platinum, and you're like, God damn it, I've waited 45 minutes already. I'm just buying them.
Yeah.
And that's how they suck you in.
Are you guys people who would go not overspend, but like if there was a drop or a re-release or a friend had an extra, like, are you guys trying to still go? Or you're kind of like, oh, it would have been cool, but nah, not gonna do it.
If it falls in my lap, I'll go. Like, not falls in my lap, but like if I have like a buddy, like, hey, I have extra, and like, you know, all the shit aligns, I'll go. But I'm not gonna overspend. I'm not paying over face. Our T, you know, Travis, T's the guy that, like, if he wants to go, he'll just buy tickets. He doesn't give a shit, right? And I think like he's in a position where he can do that, and it's great. But like I think I've seen him pay double, you know, tickets, just goes, picks them up, you know, 2 days before. I'm not doing that shit because I think there's so many other shows. Although, like, it depends on the situation, right? Like, I feel like you wouldn't have to do it Dover, but if I had to, I'm going to Dover, right? Like the festival, I'm 100% going to, and that's not going to come up. But if it were, there's nothing that's going to stop me from being there. But I'm not doing that for the Sphere.
If I went to the Sphere, I'd want to see Beyonce or U2 or some band that, you know, that kind of thing, because I feel like I walk out disappointed because there's not going to be a 29-minute tweezer.
They're going to be jamming at the Sphere, Cad. There's going to be jamming.
They're going to play a regular show, but oh God,
I think it's going to be more festivals, like short, like it's going to be 10 minutes. We know 46 Days is running 10 minutes because we have visuals.
All 4 nights. You think they're going to go 4 nights without jamming? Fish.
No, they'll jam, but they're going to give it a time limit. They're going to say we have visuals.
They do that anyway. No, there's going to be open-ended visuals, Kev. There's no way that they're playing 2 o'clock,
especially because it's sold out for Fish
fans. On stage.
It's
they're not playing. They're not jamming 2 o'clock. They're not going to end a fucking killer jam at 8 minutes just because it's 8 minutes.
No, they're playing to their fans. It's not like it's an open thing, and you know. It's not.
Damn, Kev.
I can see if it was like walk into this like exhibit thing, like it might be like on some loop, but like it's Fish fans that are paying thousands of dollars to see Fish in this weird place. Like, I do not think they're going to change their music at all.
No way. No way. So we a couple times we've soft announced the rumors we've heard because we talked about it on the on sale, and then we had a MD that I ended up having to take down because I got my years mixed up. December is a hard month for me, by the way. I kept saying next year, meaning 2025, and then I realized that people thought I was saying 2024. But
it would have been right.
I'm a mess.
I know. So let me just set. We'll release the microdose on it, but let me set the record straight from what we heard, and I feel good about these sources because now it's been corroborated by a couple of people since then. In 2025, so not next year, but the year after, Fish is returning to the Sphere, and the dates that are in discussion is 8 shows. So I don't want to like, you know, I do want to push out rumors. I don't care. But like the reason I wanted to bring it up is because it helped me with my FOMO. So if you're sitting there like, oh, I'm missing this great opportunity to see Fish at the Sphere, I don't know if they're going to do it or not. They are already in contract negotiations and discussions to come back.
Yeah.
Same with Dead & Co, right? Like if that was released by the Post and Jambase and everything, they're in discussions to do it. So you're going to have lots of opportunities to see jams at the Sphere.
I think it's really important to remember though that they have to see how it goes. Like they have to. Like they haven't had a show like that. They haven't done it, you know, and if it becomes like this wild liability, then that's an issue. Not to change what you just said. Yes, there will be opportunities.
Well,
to
it's
see
in
fish in
talks.
good places.
I should clarify. It's all conversations right now. I don't think it's signed, right? But
No, I don't think so either. Especially because this sphere going to continue, and is it going to be the right place for them? I know management in a way where they make the best decisions for the fans, even when people don't think they do. They really do. I know I've had direct conversations about it. Fish brought on GrooveSafe to make the fan experience better. So as much as people want to say that Fish doesn't care about their fans because of ticket prices or whatever that else thing, it's not that. They do care. So it's going to be a part of the conversation, I think. I don't even know if GrooveSafe's going to go to the sphere, honestly, because there's some gaming laws that doesn't allow the exchange of money. So even if it's donations, so we might have to exist only as a service instead of like a nonprofit. So that would be interesting. But we'll see how that goes.
Vegas and their crazy laws.
Vegas and their weird laws. Prostitution, check. Donations, no.
But I hope they do it. And I hope they play on the moon. And I hope they play like,
on the moon.
Like, so I think that we need, I mean, the festival's coming up. That's going to be amazing. We've been waiting. Was it 2015, the last official time we did that?
You'll be at the fest, right? You'll definitely
I hope so. I got to talk to Waterwheel, etc., and see what that would look like. Because I've done festivals many, many times, but I've never done a fish festival where the activation during the day, like we wouldn't probably be active at night during the sets. So it would be more of a kind of the festival GrooveSafe vibe, slightly different than just like a standalone table for that couple. Well, the handful of hours of a show. I love festival GrooveSafe and I love festival fish. We have a setup where we do it kind of like, I call it the GrooveSafe lounge, where it's literally like, the 10 by 10, but I have rugs and expressive arts and like, kind of, it's like a hang more than it is.
Can we bring cocktails?
Yeah, it's fine. That's the fun part.
I feel like Kev's only going places where he has
I'm eyeing up the lounge already.
It's fine. God. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to like cut off your idea about, hey guys, you might be able to see them at the Sphere someday.
No, listen, MSG Entertainment leaks like a sieve. When they were in contract talks for the residency this summer, we heard about it months and months before. When they started the contract talks for the Sphere this year, we heard about it months and months before. And it's not like, oh, pat us on the back. Lots and lots of people have heard these leaks. Like, so I believe them because of the track record. But to be clear, they didn't say that it was signed. I think the reason it's not signed is exactly what you're saying. It's going to be a wait and see. That said, if it's successful, which would be great, they're already set up to come back and to make another splash. If it's not successful, I don't think many people are going to want to go the next year anyway. So it's like a win-win, lose-lose. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And there's plenty of places that they can play, All
right. And I don't want to. 8 nights in fucking Vegas sounds horrendous.
Horrible. I think my limit's 4. It usually was 3, but once they started doing 4, I had to go to 4. And it's a lot.
You're burnt out by the end of that 4th night.
How long before Fish completely jumps to the widespread model of just playing every 2 months 4 to 8 shows at 2 different venues?
Well, they're working towards that with MSG and MSG Sphere.
Yeah.
And then you add a couple sheds in the summer, and that's kind of like where they're at.
But to completely even cut out the sheds, where it's just like we're going to play 4 nights at Alpharetta, and then there's nothing for another month.
I can't see them cutting out sheds. Like I don't see a world where they're not doing Alpine or Deer Creek or SPAC or maybe SPAC, because like there's a lot of other venues in New York, but like the whole Midwest would lose their shit if they didn't do Alpine and Deer Creek. They would lose their goddamn minds.
Can't live without it. I know, it's true. Wait, I was wondering too, while we're on this, is you guys talking about MSG, do you have any ideas about New Year's? Because I've heard some things. I don't have any real information, but I do know it's going to be pretty special because the gag's going to be like something. So what I did hear, someone that does know wouldn't tell me, said that it's going to be really special for longtime Fish fans. And like, what does that mean? If you heard that, what would you think?
I don't know, because I feel like Fish 40 last year was really special for longtime fans because they like Easter egged everything. I think maybe Gem Truck-esque, like not doing that, but like in that vibe of the Gem Truck, like doing something historic,
Because
maybe.
I told my friend that said that to me because they were a musician who was working with someone that knows what's going on, and he was just like, it's gonna be good for the fan because this person isn't a super Fish fan, but they know about the culture, and so they were like, it's all I can tell you is it's gonna be really special for Fish fans.
Well, we
Like,
saw that the floor plan was different
Yeah, it's a
for
different stage.
12/31 than it was for the other nights on
Right.
Ticketmaster.
but
So
like,
the
is a
stage
horn
is like,
section enough to be that big of a, like what
No.
is it? What are we
are they
talking?
going to break out the giant country horns? You think
I'm just throwing it
that
out.
would be hot? There's the rumor of the day.
But is that enough to get somebody that's not super familiar with the band to say specifically it's going to be good?
Right.
Like from that perspective, if you put yourself in his or hers, like mindset, the musician's mindset, what would make you tell a Fish fan it's going to be good for?
Oh,
the
I got
hardcore
it. They're going to have Billy Strings and Rick show up, and they're going to wrestle.
Yeah, there's a mud pit. Like, that's why the stage
course.
is like crooked because they're gonna bring a whole like ball pit or some mud pit or.
Yeah, it's gonna just be Trey and Rick wrestling, and Billy's gonna play that banjo like while they wrestle in the mud.
Oh my god! Yeah, no, but I was really like thinking like, is it horns? Is it because they did the decades right last year, so it
Right.
won't be like a ode to the old times thing. So I'm wondering like, is it Gamehenge? No.
Oh, could they break it out for once, right? Final
Fuck,
time.
that would be it. That would be the thing that would get people to say it would be good for hardcore Fish fans and suck for people that don't know the band.
So we'll be watching the first 3 nights. Any Gamehenge songs pop? If they open up the first night with Wilson, that's done.
Right. Oh my god, the speculation the first 3 nights is gonna be wild.
People are gonna be throwing up on themselves. I feel like.
Yeah, I know. See, well, I don't think they would either, but because nobody thinks they would ever do it again, because you're right, Mr. Will, I think that's the reason they would do it, is because they subvert expectations, they get it into the lexicon that they'll never do it.
Right. But you guys, I mean, how cliche is being like, it's Gamehenge. Like, I'm not that Fish fan. I am not. Because I know,
but that's what every Fish fan would say. That's the only reason I think it could be. Like, I'm always the one that says they'll never do Gamehenge, but because everybody says they never would is the only reason I think that they could. Because what was the manager, the road manager
Richard.
had that. Yeah, he had that leak about from the New Mexico State University when he did the lecture there. Somebody was talking to him and they put it all over Fantasy Tour. And he was saying at that lecture how you can't miss this New Year's. And like,
yeah,
of course he's going to say that, but like to really emphasize this one over other ones.
Yeah, he's really honest where he'll keeps the thing, he's a need to know kind of guy, but he does share something sometimes. And it's just enough information to be like, you don't miss it. And I've heard that from my, my business side of things. I've heard that from friends kinds of things. I've heard that through this one musician friend who's working on a project with someone in the inside. Like there are, it's a don't miss, but to me, I'm like, what could it be that I can't miss? Like whatever. I finally got talk. Like I'm good. Like I don't know what else I need. So there's just
was that the thing you were chasing?
The only song left for me. Yeah. Well, that I like.
Right.
Like not, take the A train or something. Like whatever.
Right. Something up insane.
Yeah. Or like Not Theirs or like it's the only studio song that like I had on my list.
Yeah.
I think Curtis Lowe's the only song I haven't seen that they actually could possibly do at this point.
That's a kind of an interesting stat because I've seen it many times.
You never caught that. Lushington, you're never going to get, or that kind of thing. So
Gamehenge, you're never going to get.
Apparently.
Oh God, the FOMO is so out of control. I was finally I was really feeling good and comfortable about.
Sorry, I didn't know you were going.
No, so this year I took off. Like I saw a ton of shows. Whatever. But this year I had a baby, so it was the right thing to do. And my wife was like, "Hey, if we could find a babysitter, we could go to New Year's." But finding a babysitter for a baby for New Year's Eve is like, not easy. So I'm like, we'll just stay home. I'll do the webcast. We'll do the after shows and it'll be fun.
That's what I was gonna say. So I've got a grinds my gears thing. So there's a thing that's going on and always has been in the fish world and a fan community that like gotta be there. If you're not there, your life is over. But look at the technology we have right now. You can literally have unlimited bathrooms, unlimited beers, unlimited like blankets and sweatpants and whatever you want. And not worry about GrooveSafe problems because you're not touching anybody when you're by yourself at your house. But like
Right.
it's such a blessing, and I don't know if that's even the right word, but such a treat that you can webcast and you can be there. Like I
Yeah.
know you're not physically in the building, but you can experience in real time. You can watch it as if it was happening, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know people are like, well, you're not there, you're not really there. Oh, you weren't really there, but you can experience it at the exact same time as everybody else, whether you're in the building or not. And like to me, that matters. It's not like, oh, I missed that. Like you saw it, you weren't there. But like,
but you don't have to drive home either. You don't have to drive home either. That's the beautiful part.
You can crank it to 10. You probably have really good speakers. You probably have like, maybe some people have this like massive TV. You're there. You're not there. And people are going to kind of cut me down for this, but it's real time.
I hear you and I agree with you, but I could also see the other side of like, first, if you're shaming people for missing a show or gatekeeper or doing it, that's bullshit. Don't do that shit. But like for me personally, there is something special about being in the room and the energy that we share together as a fan base and the music and that like the feeling the music go through you, right? Like that's something that you can't replicate. That said, this past year, I watched every single show, right? Like I haven't missed a second of Fish for 2023. And I've never felt more in tune with the music and what they're doing. Like the slightest little like nuances, you don't catch that when you're live, right? And it's a different experience, but
I know exactly.
I think there's value in both. I love how in tune I am with every tiny little part of it this year. That said, I cannot wait to get back in the room. Like I really, that's where I want to be.
100%. And nothing about what I said means it's the same, but it's the beauty of being able to truly do it in real time. And you can live tweet, you can talk to your friends, but you're also like, you're not missing it. You're not there, but you're not missing it. And so that's the important
You're part of the experience at some level.
Because like you'll see it and it's gonna be amazing. Whatever it is, it's gonna be amazing. And like you won't have to, choke on
it's so cool. Twitter isn't like this anymore. Blue Sky is for me becoming it, but also you're watching the show and you're tweeting about it and everyone else is, and you're interacting with all these people in real time about an event that's happening. I think there's a beauty in that,
Yeah.
You know what I love the most too, and I don't want to like overdo it because it's kind of like egotistic, but I really, really love and enjoy the after shows. Like having I do. I enjoy doing them because I love having the chat there in real time, 15 minutes after encore, and getting everybody's takes and dissecting it song by song and talking about it. And like we don't pretend, Kev, you know this, right? Like we don't pretend to be fucking experts. I don't have the same mind that like people on HF Pod had, where like I know the stats and stuff, and I respect that. I think that's great. We're not like the super nerds that are like we know everything about everything. But like just going through and breaking down the sets and talking through afterwards is something that's really been like another layer on top of everything else that it is for us. So yeah, I'm not ashamed of it. I enjoy that part of it. I think that's a nice part of the tour. I really like doing that.
I just think we're in a good place where these days missing it has a different meaning, because it's like you really did miss it before, and you'd have to like scramble for some audio on some crappy thing sometime, maybe,
listen to a crappy ass tape.
Or you had to hop in your car and drive 33 hours to catch the show because that was the only option.
Yeah, I mean, when it was over, and I know there was audio and all that, and like over time that got better, and capturing and recording and all was all better and better and better. Now we have video, and now we have like 4D, whatever they call it, and now you can watch it live. Like that's cool. I don't know. I think it's cool.
No, I agree. But that said, if they play fucking Gamehenge, I'm gonna be fucking upset. I mean, I'll be happy. I'll be happy for all of you, but I'm gonna be disappointed internally. Oh, SC's bringing in all of Kev's bad takes.
I don't make those kinds of assumptions ever. For someone asked like how long how many years. I mean, they're Trey's healthy. They're happy. They're going to play. I don't know what kind of capacity, like we said, are they going to change their model? Are they going to do 25 shows a season? Probably not. But I think that they'll have some special events. They're shifting into that, like residencies, like
Mexico.
Mexico's 4-night runs in random the Sphere, or like these whatever else it is. I think that they're not even close to stopping playing music, but I don't know if it's going to be like.
Maybe we get a festival every summer here on out, and that way they can just pack everyone in for 4 days, and everyone can get their fix.
Festivals are all over the place. Kev's like, oh, they're going to be broken up in 5 years. Now he's like, oh, they're going to do festivals every year. Can't you just find like a happy average middle ground where it's not one extreme or the other?
Moderation is fatal.
Yeah.
I've been seeing Fish for 20 years. I know that's like not as long as other people, but like they're good. We're good.
Right. What in what they've done in the last couple of years would make you think, Kev, that they're not going to keep playing? Everything is a sign of like injecting energy into it.
That's from Twitter. We can see Twitter comments now.
Yeah.
What makes me think that? Just, they're getting older. They're just going to want to wind down, and it'll be a special thing. I don't see them in 5 years going and doing a 27 show tour like they did.
You guys, Bob Weir's like 80 something, and Denko toured like mad crazy. So
right. And what did Bobby say after that, Kev? Firsthand. He's not stopping. He doesn't want to stop. He's gonna die on stage.
Well, Trey doesn't want to, but did the other
That's
four
my
of
point.
them?
It doesn't
matter.
I
have to stop. I have to go. I'm so sorry. I have to work at 12. I have an hour drive, so I have 4 minutes to put my work clothes on. I love you all. Thank you all for listening. Please continue this conversation about when your band might stop playing. And guys, check out GrooveSafe. We will be on. Maybe I'll check in on the earlier days on MSG.
Yeah. Ashley, thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, talk to you later. Bye. Oh, goddamn, Kev.
All right. I got football.
Wait, you want to go? You don't want? All right. I guess we can't talk about the other thing.
What's the other thing? Let's talk about the other thing.
No, I don't want to talk about the other thing. Do you want to talk about the other thing?
No, I don't want to talk about the other thing.
All right, so we won't talk about the other thing. We don't need to talk about the other thing. Essie's all over it.
When does Goose break up?
I don't think Goose is breaking up. There's no way. There's no way. I'll say that. I can just leave it at that, right?
Yes, you can.
I think there is the fit they're dealing with, like any band does, but there's too much goodness there. They'll figure out a way to sort through it. I think that's a nice, simple way.
A non-committal committal.
A non-committal committal. Yeah, Savvy, I heard back from that text. That was a non-committal, no comment from that person. We got a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to get into it right now. I want to think about it, but I will just say I think that things are going to be all right. So if you're on the side of, hey, I hope things are good. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it
at the office party.
But if you're on the side where you're worried and you're hoping that things are good, I think things are good. If you're on the side that you're like rooting for failure, I think you're smelling smoke, but I think you're overblowing it by quite a bit. Like there's definitely smoke there, but I think you're overblowing it quite a bit.
Tuesday night, we have the Wook Club. We got a 2.0 show.
It's not bad, actually. That show was not bad.
We'll see. I haven't listened yet. I heard the twist is good.
There's some good things in there. It'll be a fun conversation.
I heard it was the best twist they ever played.
Oh, really?
From Hall.
Oh, well, Hall doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I think he's got his finger on the pulse. He knows when they do the lick. I'll tell you that.
He has this finger on the lick.
He does have his finger on the lick.
Office party Wednesday night, and then when we get into New Year's, it's all New Year's. We'll be doing set break hangs with members. We'll be doing after shows recaps, 15 minutes after encore. And then we'll figure out what we're doing in the new year when we get there.
Do we know the venue even from 04?
I could look it up, or you can just follow us on social.
Right, you can follow us on social.
Yeah, let's play us out with the classic play out music. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's nope. No, that was the last show. No, I don't know what it is. All right, bye guys. Love you. See you next time.
Yeah.